What's happening, everybody? On today's show, more on Auburn's vetting of the Bryan Harsin situation. We'll update you on the latest there. Who could Auburn replace him with if they decide to move on? Also, we'll catch up with a couple of guys who just played in the Senior Bowl over the weekend as they wrapped up their SEC playing careers. Kentucky offensive lineman Darien Kinnard and Texas A&M safety Leon O'Neal. Locked on SEC starts right now.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what's up, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. Great to have you guys along. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. I'm Chris Gordy. Thank you guys for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On SEC is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube and at LockedOnSEC.com. Let's jump into it. Let's go around the conference.
Boots out to the right. Intercepted.
Takes the handoff.
Around the conference.
And we start over at Auburn as they have released an official statement about their football program without actually referring to Bryan Harsin and the increased turmoil and pressure around his future. But the statement released Monday said the Auburn administration is judiciously collecting information from a variety of perspectives, including our student athletes, and moving swiftly to understand any issues in accordance with university policies and procedures. Decisions regarding the future of Auburn and its athletic programs, as always, remain the interest of our great university and fairness to all concerned. We do not make institutional decisions based on social media posts and media headlines. Well, we get that. They did not name particularly Bryan Harsin or the issues involved with him, but this followed a similar statement from Friday when outgoing president at Auburn, Jay Gogue, spoke at a Board of Trustees meeting where he said there's been a lot of rumors out there and a lot of allegations made about our football program, and I just want you all to know that we are involved in trying to separate fact from fiction. Well, the topic is being discussed after Auburn has seen some 25 people, players, coaches, transfers, or otherwise, leave the program in recent weeks. There's also been allegations of improper relationship with an assistant, all kinds of stuff going on there at Auburn. To top it off, Chris Lowe, ESPN reporter who spoke with Bryan Harsin a couple days ago, he was making the rounds, doing his media rounds, and he was on Jocks FM in Birmingham with Greg McElroy and Cole Kublick, and he was asked if Auburn does in fact move on from Bryan Harsin, who would be some candidates to replace him. And Chris Lowe brought up Liberty coach Hugh Freeze, of course, former Ole Miss coach, had a successful run in the SEC. They were asked about Hugh Freeze's past transgressions in the SEC, and Chris Lowe cited, well, look, Bruce Pearl was brought back after what happened at Tennessee. He's been at Auburn, so time heals all wounds. Other names Chris Lowe mentioned, former Auburn defensive coordinator Kevin Steele, said was in play about a year ago, could be another candidate. Oklahoma State's Mike Gundy, Baylor offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes, and he also said you can't rule out Lane Kiffin, even though he has a large buyout. He said, I still think this is a job that you can get a good football coach and get somebody who can come in here and someone who knows it can be done, it can recruit at a high level. So, again, nothing official yet on Bryan Harsin at Auburn, but man, not good when we're already talking about who are some potential replacements for him. Now, to compound on the bad news over at Auburn, Derek Mason, we know, left after just 1 year as the defensive coordinator to take the same position on Mike Gundy's Oklahoma State staff. Well, Mason's new contract has come out. It would make him the highest paid coordinator in Oklahoma State history. It is nothing close to what he was making at Auburn. He's in line to make $1.1 million per year at Okie State. That's down $400,000 from his yearly Auburn salary. So he took a pay cut to get out of Auburn. Clearly things are not going well at Auburn right now, and the news coming out that Derek Mason took a pay cut to get out of Auburn just adds on to that. Meanwhile, some other stories from across the SEC. Georgia, they're fresh off their national championship, signed the number 3 recruiting class, thanks in part to the help of their DBs coach, Jamil Adai. However, Adai has reportedly gotten the bug to head back home to his home state of Florida. According to Pete Thamel, Adai has agreed to a 2-year contract to take the DBs coach position on Mario Cristobal's staff at Miami. Adai came to Georgia in 2021 after spending the 2 prior years at West Virginia. So now Kirby Smart will look to fill the DB coach opening on his staff heading into next year. Over at Mississippi State, Mike Leach bringing back Will Rogers as his starting quarterback, but some depth behind him in the quarterback room, apparently taking a little bit of a hit. According to 24/7 Sports, Jack Christofek, who started his college career in the FCS ranks at Sam Houston State, he announced he will explore his transfer options, has entered his name into the portal. His bio has already been removed from Mississippi State's website, so it does seem like he is officially transferring. We will see where he ends up, but Jack Christofek moving on from Mississippi State. Meanwhile, over at South Carolina, Shane Beamer found a replacement for Eric Kimry, his tight ends coach, who left to return to the high school ranks. South Carolina is expected to hire Jody Wright as their new tight ends coach, according to On3 Sports. Wright was the former director of player personnel at Alabama, a former UAB assistant, was on the New York Giants coaching staff the last 2 years. He's a former Jacksonville State running back, spent 2 years as a student assistant at his alma mater before he went to Mississippi State in 2005. He also worked in a variety of roles at Jackson State and UAB before stints on Nick Saban's staff at Alabama. Some SEC hoops news. John Calipari put out a statement ending all hypothesis and conspiracies on Shaden Sharp, who enrolled at Kentucky for the second semester. He will sit out this season. He was expected to be a high NBA draft pick in this year's draft. Calipari said, look, after talking with Shaden and his parents, we want to end all speculation and say he will not play for us this season. There were some Kentucky fans hoping, oh, is he going to suit up tonight? Is he going to put on the jersey? He will not play for Kentucky this year. Meanwhile, Arkansas, they're gearing up for a hostile environment to welcome number 1 Auburn Tuesday night, and the Razorbacks are promoting a whiteout and a Pack the Palace type of game. All fans encouraged to follow suit and wear white in Bud Walton Arena for the first time since 2016. It's a meeting of SEC heavyweights. Arkansas coming off of a win over Mississippi State for their 8th straight win. And, of course, Auburn, they come in with the SEC Player of the Week in guard Wendell Green after he led Auburn to another 2-0 week in SEC play, beating Alabama and Georgia. Marked the first time to sweep both schools since 1967 for Auburn. So, big one. Arkansas versus Auburn. Looking forward to that one. And there you have it. That is the latest around the conference. When we return, we're going to catch up with Darien Canard, former Kentucky offensive lineman, taking his game to the next level. Thank you guys again for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Always good to tell you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as we continue to march towards the big game. And BetOnline.net, they remain the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news throughout this year. Of course, I mentioned props. They've got some props for that big game. You may want to go check them out, place a little wager, and see what you want to get in on. But it's not just football. BetOnline, they have you covered with up-to-the-minute info on pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, along with live real-time updates on current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available throughout 2022. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Rolling along here, Locked On SEC, and a quick reminder, it is Super Week brought to you by Get Upside, and there's no better place to get coverage of the big game than the Locked On NFL podcast. Locked On Bengals and Locked On Rams are in Los Angeles all this week covering the big game, so make sure to check those guys out. Look, we mentioned we were in Mobile all last week into the weekend for covering the Senior Bowl. We were able to catch up with some former SEC stars, and so didn't get to add all the interviews to our podcast, so had a couple left over that we wanted to let you guys hear. Some really, really good insight with some of these guys. Today we start with Darien Kinnard, former Kentucky Wildcat, catching up with him ahead of this past Saturday's Senior Bowl.
Coming to you here Locked On SEC from Senior Bowl week, and a pleasure to check in with this guy, Darien Kinnard. We had you on at SEC Media Days, so now talking to you postseason. Congrats on a great run this season, man. You guys had a heck of a year.
Means a lot, man.
What stands out most when you look back on this season? Was there a particular game, particular moment that you look back on and say, man, that was the best moment of the year?
I definitely think the Florida game was definitely one of the best moments of the year. Coming in, we were 5-0. I think before playing Florida, went 6-0, and just like the crowd rushing the field, just kind of knowing like this was a good season so far. Let's keep it going. It was just a good moment to embrace, especially with all those fans on the field going crazy and just kind of taking that moment in.
Now, I remember talking to Benny Snell a couple years ago, and he said, that's the team we want to beat if we're going to beat anybody, because they've had your number for a long time. Yeah. But, man, it's the tides are changing now. You guys are beating Florida on the regular now.
A little bit. I mean, there's good competition every time. One thing about Florida is that they make enemies at a lot of people. So, you know, it's a good rivalry with a lot of games. They have a rivalry with a lot of people. So, coming in, you know, our mindset is like we want to be one of the best in the SEC, and we're going to have to compete with teams like that all the time.
So I was at Kroger Field this year when you guys played LSU, and some people were saying, okay, this could be a tight one. LSU had beaten Florida, and, you know, we'll see what they look like. And you guys absolutely dominated from the get-go, particularly the offense, the run game and all that. Did it just feel like that night y'all just couldn't be stopped?
You know, I think coming in we just had the right mindset. You know, we were working very hard that whole week and leading up to that. And then going in, we just wanted to, you know, be more physical. You know, we wanted to make them quit. We knew they were a competitive team and an opponent that, like you said, beat Florida, beat some good teams. And they just have this stigma of being one of the better teams in the SEC. So coming in, we had the right mentality of just wanting to dominate and show that we could play with the big boys. So we did, and then we just stayed on the whole time.
There's a lot of questions about Liam Cohen coming in. Okay, first time OC, can he do this? What did you like about Coach Cohen? And I mean, obviously, look, the numbers speak for itself. The offense was vastly improved this year.
Yeah, he did a great job. Came in with the right mindset. You know, he wanted to take a team that was starting to rise and just, you know, excel it forward. And I think he did that, especially with a lot of offensive schemes that he brought in and just using the weapons at his disposal to the best of his ability. He did a great job doing that.
Kind of peeking ahead, it looks like there's no slowing down there. Will Levis coming back, right. Chris Rodriguez. I mean, Kentucky's going to be pretty darn solid again next year.
Yeah, I think so. I think they have a chance to be great. You know, Eli was out the last year with an injury to his tendon in his hand, and Horsey's still there. So they got two leaders in the offensive line. I don't think they don't have guys with a lot of experience on the front like we had last year with me, Luke. But I think they have a great chance if they really buckle down and, you know, get ready for this season. I think the O-line could be dominant again and just reinforce, you know, the offensive front that we have.
There were a lot of good transfers in the transfer portal this past year that went different places, but I don't know if anybody was as impactful as Wan'Dale Robinson and what he brought to you guys. What did you like most about Wan'Dale and what he brought to your offense this year?
He was a player. He was explosive. He just loved the game of football, and he got open when he could. And he just never stopped fighting, you know. Even if it was something like digging out a safety or corner in the box, like his little ass would run in there and get it done, you know. That's just competitive edge we needed, and we got out of him. And I think we got a good wide receiver coming from Bama who transferred in, and we got a great, you know, group of young guys coming in on the O-line. So I think we have a good future ahead of us.
What's this week been like for you so far? I saw you guys out there yesterday, and, man, there's a lot of SEC guys. Felt like y'all were all kind of in a circle together, going up against one another and fighting together on the offensive line. What's it been like so far?
It's been great, honestly. I feel like we're talking, you know, with a lot of guys. I feel like we have a chance to dominate this game, you know, having a lot of SEC guys on this side. You know, we just coming from a different kind of conference. You know, it's just more – we have I think our team – this team here has a better mentality than really anywhere else. You know, a lot of guys get picked from the SEC, majority from the SEC, and we just have that mentality of we're going to hit somebody and lay the wood, and we're going to run people over. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the competition, and it's just bringing the best out of all of us.
It's got to be weird because you go up against those guys. You're not particularly offensive linemen, but like you're on opposite sides. The Cade Mays, Jamari Salyers, all these guys, and now you get here, and man, it's almost like a camaraderie. Like y'all link together because SEC bond.
It could be that, or just the fat man bond. There's a lot of O linemen across the country, man, and I don't know what it is, just our weird, quirky personalities or whatever. But we just kind of click as soon as we get here. So we're all cool with each other. Now it's just kind of getting used to how each other play.
I saw some one-on-one drills yesterday. There was one play, the guy got the best of you, but I saw afterwards you tapped him on the back, like, hey, good play. Is that kind of what this is? Like, hey, you're going up against some of the best guys out here. Sometimes you may not look great, sometimes you'll look great, but that's part of the experience, right?
Right. I'm not comparing myself to the greats here. I'm just saying that there's a lot of guys in the NFL who are the best of the best who are going to be in the Hall of Fame for sure, and, they get the best of those guys sometimes. So it's like, I can't be down about a play or two here and there. We just got to go out and compete. So he got up with the energy, and I like that. I'm more of a laid-back kind of, I don't know. I'm more of a laid-back kind of worker and competitor. So, I'm more relaxed, but I still compete. So it was a good play by him. Got up, tapped on the back of the helmet, and I was just, from that point on, it was just locked in and stay focused.
I love that, though. That's a message, like, scouts see that. They go, this is a guy who says, hey, he didn't get down on himself. He said, all right, hey, good play. I'll get you next time. So particularly, what specifically have you heard from scouts or coaches or whatever, particularly what you need to work on this week?
I think it's just coming out here and, like, showing what I have, showing the whole toolkit, not really letting up. Some teams within the SEC, when we are in our schedules, they're guys that don't have really a lot of talent. And, when I get in those games, sometimes I'll start off strong, and then I'll just kind of relax the rest of the game because there's no competition. But they just want to see me compete the whole time, show that strain the whole time, and then when the game comes, just really dominate.
Last thing, what are you going to miss most about your time in Lexington?
I think just the bond over football itself. Next level is strictly business, man. It's always hard to form bonds and develop with those guys when they can be in a different team or be cut. So I think I'm definitely going to miss just the fact of bonding over football, and hate, the love-hate relationship with football too. That's what I think I'm going to miss a lot. Were you nervous that Coach Stoops' name was getting thrown out there for some other jobs? Were you nervous he was going to leave, or were you like, nah, he's staying in Kentucky? Honestly, since the fact he started a brewing company and, owns his own liquor in Kentucky, I don't think he'd leave. I think he's got a home there for good. Going on 8 years, showing results, 2 10-3 seasons in 4 years. And I was lucky to be a part of that. 4 bowl rings. I don't think he's really going anywhere anytime soon, unless something major happens and he gets a insane pay increase somewhere else. But I think he's found a home in Kentucky, and I think Kentucky can look forward to having him for a couple more years. All
right, last question. This is very, very important. This is the most important question you'll be asked all week. Favorite bourbon?
Favorite bourbon? Oh man, I'm not a huge bourbon guy, sadly. I do like malt liquor. I think it's called Di Serono. It's like a 1 malt, but it's a really good Italian malt liquor. It's good tasting. I'd say the best way I can describe it, it's like a flat Dr. Pepper. So I'm being for real. It's like put some ice on it, and it tastes like a cherry Dr. Pepper. It's really good.
Okay, we're gonna delete that part and now just say Woodford Reserve.
Okay, Woodford Reserve.
Darrian Kinnard, thanks so much for the time, man.
Thank you, brother.
Great stuff with Darien Kinnard at the Senior Bowl. We wish him the best of luck as he heads to the next level. When we return, we'll hear from Texas A&M safety Leon O'Neal, another guy with a lot of personality. You definitely want to hear that. Great stuff with him coming up in just a second. This episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it's impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that you need. Why would you endure often pointless and seemingly intimidating questions like, is your Odyssey an LX or an EX? And you got to wait for the person behind the counter while they go type in the part on their computer, and they're going to look for the brands or the, whatever their warehouse happens to carry. You have computers at your house and in your pocket. Go to rockauto.com right now. You could save time and money when you use Rock Auto. They are a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Their prices are always reliably low for every customer. Go check out their easy-to-use website today. Find the solution to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck. And make sure you write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so that they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com. Continue on here, Locked On SEC, and as we mentioned, some of our interviews that we didn't get to let you guys hear from Senior Bowl week. One of those was the great safety for Texas A&M, Leon O'Neal. Spent many years there doing his thing, so thought we'd let you hear a little bit from Leon O'Neal, former Texas A&M safety.
Pleasure now to be joined by a Texas A&M Aggie, Leon O'Neal. What's this week been like for you so far, man?
This week been smooth. Honestly, I'm just enjoying every moment of it. I realize, like, this is a process, so I'm enjoying everything of it. Honestly, I'm just growing hard, listening, being a sponge. And then after a while, you know, you start understanding, like, I do this football stuff, man. I'm excited about it. I'm always lit about it. I'm probably the energy source when you need it. I'm the uplifter. And then on top of that, I'm going to make plays here and there.
What was this season like for you guys? Because it was a little bit of a roller coaster, some ups, some downs.
The schedule, the record don't give us credit for how good we played on defense. We only gave up 15 points, I think, a game on average. We made hella stops. We beat Alabama, for God's sake. I mean, we did a lot of good things out there, but I thought we could have been consistent as a whole, and not blaming offense at all, because this time with defense could have did better too. So it got to be a collective game, and I thought I'm going rambling over, but I thought maybe when we got in the beginning of the season, we wanted natty right now. And a lot of young guys wasn't on natty right now mentality. They were just trying to fill it out, and we had to get them out of that fill it out and let's attack every day mentality. You know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's what we preach. You got to go hard every single day. You can't just go pull up on Saturdays, see the cameras, and it's my time. I'm finna shine. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. You know what I mean? So you got to really grind within those weeks.
You mentioned the Alabama win. I mean, that was the pinnacle of the season. How late into the night did you celebrate that night?
Oh, man, a little late, but I was so dang tired, man. I was so dang tired and getting so many love and congratulations. So I definitely went out with my teammates and just enjoyed each other, and then I just went back home and I laid down, man, and got ready for the next team.
Did you, at the end of the year, did you look back and say, okay, Bryce Young deserved the Heisman, like that was the best guy we saw all year?
Yeah. I thought he made some big plays in that game, especially being down 10 at half. He's very talented. And he's young. I know how it is to be young out there and playing the game. You know what I mean? But you can see him grow every game. Even after a loss, you can see how much encouraged he was to come back out there and show the world what he got. So he's a true competitor. I think him winning the Heisman is a big ups to him and everything he fought for and everything he worked for. I also think he got some good receivers in J-Mo and Mechie that make it easy for him too.
Who are some of the toughest guys you went up against at practice? Because obviously A&M, you guys were loaded with talent, particularly that backfield.
Yeah, Isaiah Spiller, obviously. I mean, I think he's the best running back in this draft. If you ask me, I watched him make cuts that nobody I think could make. I mean, he changed direction in a heartbeat. He's very decisive and he's very explosive when he gets the opportunity. You watched the Arkansas game when we needed a spark from anybody. And I remember him going to the sideline, he telling us, like, we got this. And then he go out there and he go run a 70-yard touchdown, I believe. So you can't find another competitor like him. And then you got that boy Nia Smith, who's going to probably be out next year. And I'm sure he's going to shock the world, so I ain't got to say too much about him.
Yeah, I mean, that guy does it all. Running back, receiver, whatever you need, he can get it done. Talk a little bit about your game this week. What are you hoping to achieve, and what do you want to work on most this week?
Well, I think what it is, like right now, they keep questioning this tackling ability stuff. You know what I mean? Me taking tackles in space and stuff like that, man. I'm not one of them dudes who blame it on injury. I got to make tackles in space. But, man, you watch that tape. You put that tape on. You tell me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what you see. I see a safety that's going to lead the charge. I see a safety who's going to come with a lot of energy. I see a safety who's going to make plays. You know what I mean? And the more I get consistent at it, the more my peak rises. I feel like there's really no peak for me. And I think I'm the best safety in this draft, man. I mean, I'm looking at the talent here, and I'm like, nobody even comparing to me, if you want to be completely honest. I think Jalen Petrie probably had a good day yesterday breaking up balls and stuff like that. But man, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm the best when it comes down to it.
I love it. I love the confidence. You got to play with that. Play with that swagger. Talk a little bit about what they're doing right now in College Station. Jimbo's kind of crushing it. National Signing Day. Going to finish with the #1 class. Do you kind of wish you were sticking around a little bit longer?
Oh man, honestly, you know, you think about that in your head. And me being like 23 years old, I did so much for the school, did so much for A&M. You got to understand when you got to pass the torch. You know what I mean? I feel like this opportunity just don't happen overnight. You know what I mean? I want to get to the NFL. I want to go play in the NFL. That's my dream. I pursued 4 years with Texas A&M. I got a lot of guys at Texas A&M. This class that we got, I got a lot of guys in that class to come to A&M. So, I mean, they got some safeties in there that's going to handle business like they're supposed to, as I expect. So I said, man, it's best for me to go give them an opportunity out there. You know what I mean? I've been there 4 years. I don't want to hog the position all day. Let y'all get a shot. You know what I mean? So, and I'm hoping they can win a natty this year.
Is it crazy? I mean, you went up a lot against a lot of talented guys in the SEC, but to see what the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback has done already in year 2, Joe Burrow playing for a Super Bowl, is that crazy?
I literally was playing against Joe Burrow my sophomore year. So watching him in the Super Bowl right now, man, that's nothing but motivation and inspiration that you can go do it no matter what circumstances you in. I mean, him being the transfer, being counted out, you know what I mean, to going to LSU and God putting him in a good predicament, and not just God's predicament, but how hard he worked to put himself in that predicament. You know what I mean? You see where he at, and the reason why is he have unbelievable amount of confidence in his game, who he is, and he trusts all his guys.
Yeah, that's 7 overtime game. It was like, somebody just win this game, right?
Exactly. No, it was crazy. That game was crazy. I think I was a little younger then, but watching touchdowns happen left and right. We don't know who gonna win. We in Cal Field, everybody going nuts, everybody going crazy, man. That was an unbelievable experience I had in college, for sure.
What are you gonna miss most about College Station?
The fans. I think I'm gonna miss my teammates, the fans.
Dixie Chicken?
Cal Field, Dixie Chicken. Just a bit. No, but honest to God, man, everything about it, honestly. I can't even just put one in one pot. Everything at A&M is what make it special. You know what I mean? From the love we get from the fans to my amazing teammates, amazing staff, coaching staff. It's just genuine. It's genuine. You see a family when you think about A&M, man. And I think you see that's why a lot of kids out there are committing to the school.
Were you surprised Coach Elko left? And I mean, you got to be rooting for him at Duke now, right?
Oh my God! Honestly, I'm not surprised Coach Elko left. Why? Because I just feel like he's an alpha. He's an alpha. He was a DC, but man, he gravitated with us so well, and I love to see him take over a head coaching job. I always said it, you know what I mean? Now he's doing it. I mean, I'm nothing but proud. I'm like just proud. I'm excited for him, and I know he gonna spark the world and put a spark on some young guys like he did on me.
Last thing, you talk fast, but Jimbo Fisher talks fast. Who talks faster?
Ooh. Jimbo for sure. I wouldn't even compete with Jimbo.
Did you ever have a time where you were like, what did he say?
Yeah, oh, well, all the time. We like every day, like we had meetings, and he always give us a speech or, you know, give us a philosophy, and we like, okay, what did he just say? Like, what we trying to find out what does he, like, you know, because it's hard to understand when people talk fast. We're like, what do he mean? So you got to really open your ears up so you can get everything he's, like, pouring out. You know what I mean?
Leon O'Neal, Texas A&M DB. Thanks so much for the time, man.
No, I appreciate you. God bless you.
All right, that is just about going to do it for this edition of Locked On SEC. My thanks to Darian Kinnard from Kentucky and Leon O'Neal from Texas A&M for catching up with us during Senior Bowl week. Great stuff with those guys. We'll be back tomorrow here on Locked On SEC. Hopefully we have some kind of resolution with Auburn. Are you standing by Bryan Harsin? Are you keeping him? Are you moving on? We don't know. We'll see. All of that coming your way throughout this week. Locked On SEC. Also, we'll start to next week turn the page a little bit, start to look at the college baseball season as a lot of SEC teams ranked very high this year. And we'll bring you some conversations with some folks from across the SEC landscape as well. So keep an eye out for that. I'm Chris Gordy. Give us a 5-star review if you don't mind, if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. And thank you guys for making us your first listen every day. Now you can go make your second listen. Check out the Locked On Bets podcast with your boy Q and Lee Sterling. I'm Chris Gordy. Talk to you guys tomorrow right here on Locked On SEC.